Hello and welcome to a Let's Play in Crusader Kings 2. As always, this is Densius. Now, the first thing you'll notice is this is not Crusader Kings 2. I fluffed the line, but I'm covering it up spectacularly, don't you think? This is going to be episode 0. For those of you that don't know what this game is, Victoria 2, if I didn't actually mention it while covering my arse. It's by Paradox. It's set, well, in 1836. It's after the events of Europa Universalis, whichever one. And it's a time of empire expanding, or rather in the case of, say, the British, and, the British, the Portuguese, United States, as you can see here. Yeah, that's the point, 1836. In case you don't know, it's in the middle of the Texas-Mexico conflict, in which Texas wins. USA will come in on its side, I suspect, in this war. And the important things I suppose I should say are that, well, I should go through it basically for those of you who don't know. If you do know what Victoria 2 is about, skip to episode 1. Anyway, this is a trade screen. Is it? No, it's the production screen. Sorry, messed that up already. Not really relevant yet. You can build factories here producing goods to increase your country's income. Foreign investment, you can build factories in other countries. They can seize it from you if they go communist. That's a point, that's politics, that comes later. I never look at this screen. I automate it. And there are no projects because I'm not building anything, because I am an uncivilized nation. I'm playing as Japan, by the way. Oop, wrong button. Budget will be the next screen I have a look at. Taxes. Now, because I am a reactionary government, again I mentioned that in politics, I can only tax them a minimum of 50%. I can then raise it all the way up there, which I probably will do when I actually start doing it. Can take out loans. I don't normally, so I'll explain this if I ever get around to taking out loans. National stockpile. This is how much supplies you buy in to maintain your army, your navy, and your factories, assuming that you own factories and you've not outsourced it all to capitalists that don't exist yet because I'm uncivilized. Education funding. This increases the literacy, currently 40%, which is quite high actually for an uncivilized nation. And that increases the amount of research points, which are not relevant to me yet, because I'm an uncivilized nation. Social spending is for social policies I do not have. Military spending, well, that's pretty obvious. Tariffs, as you can see here, I'm exporting lumber, fish and iron. By putting that, I'm putting a tax on imports and exports to get money. In this case, I am subsidizing, sorry, do that, I tax imports to get money, if I put it that way, up here. Put it that way, I am subsidizing exports so that Japanese businesses that don't yet exist can sell their goods against foreign competitors better. Right, technology. Not remotely relevant to me yet, but at some point I'll start researching these things once I'm no longer an uncivilized nation. Essentially, by uncivilized, at this point in history, Japan was essentially medieval still, in terms of its technological outlook and the society outlook. They were completely insular. They didn't want contact with the outside. Well, unfortunately, the quasi-benevolent deity Densius has decided to get involved in all their lives. Moving on. Oh yeah, navy, commerce, culture, industry. Commerce is nice because it improves tax efficiency, but everything's nice for different things. Politics. Absolute monarchy. As you can see here, you can get different government types. You can convert Japan, if you are lucky or unlucky, depending on your perspective, into a completely communistic society, if that's what you want. It's not what I want, because that complicates things, but it's the way it goes. These parties, reactionary, conservative and liberal, are the technical political terms, not what people tend to associate them in real life. Liberal are those that want change, like for example, they don't want slaves. Quick talk about that. This is historically accurate. There are slaves in the United States and in the Portuguese territories, and I believe those are the only slave nations left by this time. France and Spain, United Kingdom. I mean, France had that temporary go back to slavery under Napoleon, but after Napoleon was defeated and the Republic restored. Well, I think it's actually it's the royal government actually. It's the royal. Yes, it's not had revolutionary France yet. Forget I mentioned revolutionary France and the Republic. It's not that at all. It's got rid of it. Back to Japan. No slaves here. So yeah, that'd be an example of slavery, of liberalism, is getting rid of slavery. Conservatives would be the people that don't want anything to change. If slavery is there, they don't want slaves to be free. If slavery isn't there, they don't want slaves to come back. It's just they want things to stay exactly the same. Reactionary are those that want to go backwards. They're the lot that would say, no, things were better when we enslaved an entire people. So let's bring that back. That's just the basic idea. There are others that will turn up over the course of the game, like anarcho-liberals and Marxists and all other kinds of people will turn up over time. Movements, non-existing. This would be like if I had a lot of communist pressure. They might have an uprising here. Decisions. There are only 2 at the moment, but they can range from things like signing the Geneva Convention to building the Panama Canal. This is a way to advance Japan from medieval to great power. You have to go through either the Meiji Restoration or the early Meiji Restoration, which comes with penalties if you go with the early one. I'll be reading this out all in the actual game. Population. I can put focuses here. I can currently have 0 of 1. That's what that circle with a triangle means. And I can focus them to do all kinds of things. I can focus... here's an example. You can have fascist parties that haven't turned up yet, socialists, communists, anarcho-liberals. Big important point, those 2 are not the same under any circumstances. Anyway, you can focus on encouraging soldiers, farmers, clergymen, aristocrats if you want to do that, or different production. Not really relevant to me yet. I'll do all that decisions in the actual episode. Here you can see the breakdown of your society, whether it's religion, the revolt risk, there's none at the moment, what their ideological breakdown is, issues, because if you end up moving away from this to, say, take an example, I could just take my own country here, Her Majesty's government, next election is due January 1st, or the USA democracy, next election January 1st. They have elections with issues and you get to make decisions. I'm not going to have that for quite a long time, but that's the way it is. Trade. I use this very important tick button, which I call automate because it's called automate, and ignore it. And I press the wrong button again and again. Diplomacy. Very important. First up, it shows the great powers, the 8 nations that are just really, really going to dominate everything unless you can unseat someone. The Ottoman Empire tends to get unseated, as does Spain and Austria. Austria can lose out quite badly as well. United Kingdom, Russian Empire I've seen lose as well. France, Prussia, after it changes, is good. And the USA, they tend to stay the same. USA tends to stay isolationist. You're unlikely to get involved in them. Of course, I'm going to get involved with them because they always sphere me. I'll explain that in a minute. Show wars. These are the current wars going on at the moment. They default start at the beginning of the game. The Texan War of Independence that I alluded to earlier. And there's one happening in Tripoli and the Ottoman Empire. The Ottoman Restoration of Tripoli. War justification. Quick example, justify war. I do this and I can fabricate a claim on all these things, just in case I wanted to take on the world superpower with my medieval standard military. I mean, they have cannons, I have katanas. Right. A military. Something I'm not going to focus on for a little bit either, as I have quite a nice military to start with. I can build extra regiments here, like eventually tanks and planes, but I've only got irregulars and cavalry at the moment. I like to build cannons, guard, and dragoons as my core army for most of the game until I can rebuild tanks and planes. And that's the basic overlay of that. Right. Nice little explanation there. I think I covered everything. There are events that can do major things, truly upset your day. And, one thing, like I mentioned about sphering. Superpowers can sphere minor powers, like Japan, Korea. They will probably... China... America, if I look at your spheres, has Liberia, which is a primitive satellite of the USA. Then there's like Haiti, which is sphered... Not anyone, but it will be eventually. That's just how it works. When you're in a sphere, you can't attack any. You're essentially under the influence of a great power. Like if I was sphered by the United States and Korea is sphered by the United States, we can't go to war with each other. One of us has to get out of being in the sphere, and you do that by either just naturally surpassing and entering a great power status, or by fighting your enemy. Now, fortunately, Japan will get sphered by United States of America, and there's this rather wonderful gap between us called the Pacific Ocean. And Haiti, my God, what is wrong with my brain? Hawaii, Haiti, I'm still thinking about over there, is an important battleground in between Japan and the United States in the relatively near future. Cannot allow America to have this for any length of time, because if it has it, then it can colonize all through here. And guess what? I want to colonize all through here. Anyway, thank you for watching episode 0. I've been Tensius. Ciao for now.